right? So first time in my experience where people say that hey, right? So anyways, so today we're gonna focus on the continuation of our previous lecture that we did yesterday. So yesterday we focused on service delivery, and today we're gonna focus on organization governance on AWS, right? So usually what happens when you join a company, right? When you join any organization, right? The first thing what the organization will have is Active Directory, or to put it AD, single sign-on, right? So every organization, right, any company that you join, they will have an Active Directory piece, right? It exactly functions like your identity and access management does, right? It can do authorization, authentication, accounting, and audit. Excuse me, the sequence was wrong. It is authentication, authorization, accounting, and audit, right? AD also does that. So any company you just join, right, they will have an Active Directory in their position. The first thing what they do is they create a login for you for your laptop or for your desktop, right? A login is created for single sign-on. The same credential is then used for your email, right? Let me mark this here, email. The same credential is created for your chat so that you can communicate with your friends. The same credential is further used for printers and third-party applications. It could be your attendance, leave application that we are looking at, payroll, salary slip, some sort of an integration that you will have. And then if you're into support business, if you're supporting your customer, right, screen sharing or remote. Uh, right, you will do some sort of a screen sharing in remote. Again, you will use the same credentials to log into your peers environment or a customer's environment. There could be a possibility that you will attend virtual meetings or some sort of an online meetings that you will attend. So audio, video calls, right? Again, your AD will be integrated. You don't have to bring a separate credentials. You can use the same credentials to log into the system here. And what else, boys? You will have access to SharePoint or some kind of a document repository where you can keep your files, documents, right? Shared drives. What else? What else? Virtual desktop and what else, guys? What else you will use in your office application? In your office environment, what are the other things that you will be using? Right? Maybe log into server, right? The organization that I come from, right? We can use our own credentials, the same NT login to log into a production environment also, right? In case of an AWS EC2 instance, EC2 Windows instance. Same thing you can do with MS SQL RDS. Are you guys are following? We can also integrate this with IAM, Identity and Access Management, for console login, for AWS console login. Right, you can use these credentials to log into your console. What else that I could think of? Okay, so for now this, right? For now, this is a use case that we'll be focusing at, right? So there might be a possibility that wherever that you go and join, your organization will already have this setup. and then they're in a verge of moving from your on-premise to AWS, and then you're required to build this. You're required to build chat capabilities within your organization. You're required to set up an email server on AWS. You're required to build virtual desktops, and you're required to build some kind of audio video meeting services, conferencing services, right? Remote capabilities. So all these things are required for you to set up in your organization, choose to move to AWS, right? So you should be aware on how to build these different capabilities. Are you guys are with me so far? Okay, so system administration, right? So let's not waste time. Let's dive in and let's start building it. I'm gonna do this lab in Virginia region. Let me check whether my recording is happening. Yes, the meeting is getting recorded, right? So I'm in the Virginia region right now, and the way you access this is you go to services, and when you come down here, you have an option called directory service. Now, why am I using dedicated directory service? I can still set up a Windows instance in EC2. I can set up a Windows instance in EC2, and I can set up a directory service on EC2. Why am I using this directory services? It is pretty simple, as we had our discussions in RDS, right? For AD also, you have two distinguished role. One is Active Directory Administrator. The second guy is Active Directory Functional. A job of an AD administrator is to set up a Windows machine, create that cluster, right? Create a domain controllers, create those forests, all that circus he has to do. And then he has to maintain it to ensure that it continuously work. That is the job of Active Directory Administrator. He will hand it over to production. Production will consume the services, and if any hiccups or roadblocks that the system provides, right, the system incurs, excuse me, right, they will call the administrator back to rescue them, right? That is a typical administrative job on various levels such as L1, L2, and L3 that we are looking at, based on the severity and complexion of the issue. The second set of guy is basically a functional guy who will reset passwords, who will do user migration, who will create, delete users, who will do day-to-day operational work, right? So what AWS has done is AWS has automated the first part of the role. That means for the very first time, you don't need an Active Directory administrator. Amazon will build it and manage it for you. And therefore it is called directory service, managed directory service, where Amazon is managing it for you. If it fails, Amazon will take care. Amazon will do troubleshooting. There's nothing that you have to do. Are you with me? You only have to log into the directory, create users, migrate users, manage users. That's it. And why AWS is doing it? Operational excellence, or in the name of automation. One guy less, right? A typical Active Directory that you hire him, he might take 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 10 lakhs CTC. If you're doing 24/7 support, you need minimum of 5 to 6 people, right? So AWS is offering you Active Directory as a service, which is less than one guy CTC for 1 year. That means it will hardly cost you 20 to 30,000 rupees per month for remaining 12 months. 30,000, 20,000 you can multiply into 12 months, and that's it. Unlimited issues are taken care of. It is fully managed. No need of worrying about going services down. Nothing. It's like your database, RDS, right? We don't need database administrator there. We just need a database developer there. Likewise, we need Active Directory functional guy. We don't need Active Directory administrator. And almost 25% of your administrative salary, you can run the Active Directory for entire year. Isn't that amazing? Right? So there are 4 directory services that are available. Excuse me, there are 3. Right? The first one is Microsoft Active Directory, very popular, dominated in the world. Every enterprise and organization uses this. No introduction is needed here. Simple AD is the AWS version of Active Directory service, right? So what they have done is they have taken an open source LDAP project, right? Like in RDS also, they took MySQL and they made Aurora database. In EC2, they took Red Hat Linux and they made Amazon Linux, right? Here they're taking open source Active Directory and they're calling it Simple AD, right? So if you have 100,000 users, about 1,500 odd users, very small to medium company that we're looking at, you will use Simple AD, right? If you have an on-premise data center and you already have Active Directory there, right? And you don't want to set up an Active Directory here, but you want to connect your AWS to your on-premise so that every time a user authentication happens, Amazon can send the request to on-premise, say, hi, hello, can I give him access? And your on-premise say, yes, go ahead. It can come back and give you access. So that is AD connector, right? Amazon Cognito is your social sign-on. Log in with Facebook, log in with Twitter. If you are into DevOps and web application development, you might have encountered that some websites will ask you to log in with Facebook or Twitter or Gmail or any other services that we're looking at. So if you want to set up a social directory, you can use Cognito. So we will stick with the AWS managed service for Microsoft. This is what they will expect you to know in the interview, right? And this is where most of the organizations are doing their implementation here. Though this happens to be a Microsoft product, it is still popular on AWS. Next, two options available, right? If you have 15,000 users, sorry, five, right? Beg my pardon. If you have 5,000 users, you will select Standard Edition. If you have 75,000 users, you will select Enterprise. Are you with me? This is for 5,000 and this is for 75,000. Right? So for this example, I'm going to select a Standard Edition here. Now it is asking me to give a DNS here. I can say global dot something like this. I can give my domain, right? Or I can change this to North America, NA, right? Or I can probably give this Asia, right? Or EMEA, something like this, right? Or I can say corp. Basically, when you say NetBIOS, you create an organization directory structure here in your Active Directory. So whoever logs in, right, he has to give that NetBIOS or he has to specify that name slash and then his user ID. And then Active Directory will understand you belong to North America, you belong to EMEA, you're a global user, right? So in this case, I'm going to just explicitly mention corp and then corporate network. So I'll mention corp here too. And again, this can be anything. You can put global here, right? Something, anything you want. You can put India, whatever you want. So I will say corp. None, I have nothing to say here. Okay, next. Now I'm doing this lab in Virginia and I will strongly urge you to also follow this lab in Virginia region because there are certain services that are not available in Mumbai in other region. Hence, we will adhere to Virginia region for this. And select availability zone 1A and 1B only. These two availability zones that you have to select because certain services are only available in these two particular subnets. Right? But if you notice here, it did not ask me the T2 micro, medium, small, large. It did not ask me. It also did not ask me the amount of storages that I need. Nothing it asked me. Click on next. Now you need to remember, unlike like other services, which is free for 12 months, right? Every month there's some amount of quota that is given to you. And then if you use it, if you don't use it, the quota will be reset next month. And the process will continue for all 12 months. But however, in case of Active Directory, it is only available for 1 month, the first month from the time you create a directory services, and that's it. And then it is no longer free. If you create this in a second or third month, you have to pay for it. So it's only free for first 30 days from the time you create the directory service. And then you click on create. So once you click on create, right, I have canceled it. I did not actually create it. I just wanted to show you how to create one. right? Once you create it, you have to wait for about 45 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes you have to wait for the Active Directory to be created and completed. So I just didn't want it to create and wait for 45 minutes in the class. So I have pre-created this before the class. And if you see the date, it was created today, December 3rd, 2018. So this was created today. I created prior the class. So make sure that once you create an Active Directory, you wait for 45 minutes and only then you continue with your lab. Are you with me? Okay, so my Active Directory is created. Now I need to log into this Active Directory, right? I need to log into this Active Directory. Now, as I have previously told you, right, AWS does not give you access to log into this directory service. You simply cannot log into this directory directly, right? Instead, we have to create a jump server or an intermediate server, which will help us to tunnel into this directory, right? So going back to the Excel sheet, I will create an EC2 instance, and with the help of EC2 instance, I will log into directory. Now, but to do this, I have to use IAM role, as we have discussed in yesterday's lecture also. To connect one or more AWS services, we have to use IAM role. We used IAM role with S3, we used IAM role with SSM yesterday, and today we are using IAM role to connect the EC2 instance from Active Directory. Open in the new tab. Go to roles, create a role. Okay, there's a problem with that role. So click on create a role, and you can select EC2, and then second service is directory service. You can select directory service, and if you see here, a directory service is selected. So this role is between an EC2 and the directory service. Permissions. Right, you want to connect this to EC2, full access here. Just a name AD role here, review. That's it, you click on create. The AD role is right here. EC2, trusted relationship. And if I edit the trusted relationship, there is DS already here, directory service is already mentioned here. So that means the role that I have selected is to connect the EC2 instance and the Active Directory. So the role is ready. Now let's go back and create an instance here, EC2. Now going back to the Excel sheet here, I've created the Active Directory. I've created a role which will help me to connect, and I'm now creating an EC2 instance. Okay, I will be selecting Microsoft Windows Server 2016 base here. Select. T2 Micro is fine. Right, so two steps that I have to do. First is I have to select my domain join, because I've created the Active Directory here in Virginia region. The directory is now visible to all the Windows services in Virginia region. So I will domain join. I will domain join this machine, and I will select that role that I have created. That is weird. The role is not showing up. Let me go back and check. Role. The role is here. Refresh. Okay, let me try that again. Delete. Right. So let me create a role. EC2 and EC2 again. Just bear with me. I'm just trying another way. Permission. Mm, okay. And okay, directory services full access. Trusted relationship is EC2. Okay, let me give it a try here. Refresh. And an AD role is showing up here. So I'll select this AD role and I have a domain join here. What else that I need to select? Okay, that's it for now. Add storage, 30 GB is fine. AD jump box. Okay, review and let me launch it. An AD role is selected here and mm, okay. So the AD is getting created here. What is this? Grab NVIDIA. So there are two Slack channels that are available. One is hosted by Valaxy Technologies. The other one is my channel. So I will give you access to my channel. So in my channel, there are the couple of things that I do, as I told you before. We periodically post jobs for you. We find and give you jobs. There are recorded sessions that are available on lecture. There's an on-job assistance that we do. Add money at once. And right, there's an on-job assistance that we do. We give support. There are examination dumps that are available in the channel. Right. So I've sent you the invitation here, Sujit Kumar. This person is already there. Right. So I've given you the access to the channel right now. I want you to go and access the channel. Right. And everything is available here. On-job assistance is available here. I have posted a couple of jobs here, 59 jobs on AWS in Bangalore. The 55 DevOps jobs that are available, 5 architect jobs are available, right? And if you come here, right, you have examination dumps. All the examination dumps are available. Some of the other recordings are also available here, right? And go through that, and there are student lectures also available. So spend some time, look around. Any job related help you need, you post your questions here. We have over 300 students who's going to help you out, including me, right? So explore the system. I have given you the access, so you should check your email and you have to accept the invite. We can find and give you a job in US also. I just have to set up an alert in Slack, and I can find and give you the jobs. That can be done. Basically, we're in a digital world, so we can find jobs from anywhere in the world and we can cater. That should not be a problem. All right. So let me take a RDP. I'm logging in as a local user here, just to check whether the machine was successfully domain joined. ADMINISTRE. Okay. Logging into this Windows machine now. Let me give a few minutes for this to settle down.
Hi, Adnan.
Mm-hmm.
This window has not connected to the on-site premises Active Directory. It just we are created a directory services on AWS and open it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm. For some reason, this machine has not domain joined. The machine is not domain joined. Um, hmm. Why? Properties. Nope. I think it is to do with the role. The role was not properly created here. So let me remove this. Let me delete and recreate another machine here. Um, can I do a domain join? Nope. Terminate. Yes, terminate. And let me go check with the role here. Roles. Delete. Create a role. EC2. EC2 again. Or let me say simple system manager. EC2 simple system manager. Permission. Tag. Name. AD. Role. AD. Role. Create a role. Okay. DS stands for directory service. So what I've done is I've created as another role, and I've done a little tweak here. I've selected EC2 role for simple system manager because it's an automation role, and this can pretty much log into various services. So I'm explicitly mentioning that the service that I want this role to log in is, instead of EC2, I have changed it to directory service here. Previously it was EC2, I have changed it to directory service here. So hopefully this time the role will work. Now let me give it a try. Launch another instance. So you guys will learn over a period of time. When you keep playing with the roles, when you keep trying with couple of roles, you will get that after a couple of attempts. So I have a directory here. Again, the new role. Hopefully this is the new role. And let me try that one more time. Add storage. AT jump box. Existing security group. The same security group that I have created previously. And then let me launch it. Me too in Ireland. Hey Mahesh, why do you want to work in Ireland, man? You go to US, man. You work with Zorul here. Mahesh, if you're speaking, I'm unable to hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm not speaking actually. Sorry. Okay.
Because you unmuted yourself, I thought you're speaking. You want to be in Europe, huh? Okay, just give me a couple of more minutes. I think this will be ready, and then we will continue with the lab here. Hopefully, it should work this time.
It's too early to ask you a question, but I think previously in the lecture I asked you about if new instance, Windows instance has been created and it has to be joined automatically to Active Directory. It's only because of that role, or we have to give a special permission to that.
There are two things that depends. It is role and domain join both. So if you see here, if I select the Windows machine, and if I select this, this is the domain join. So you have to select a domain controller before
Yeah.
creating a machine.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And then you have to also select the
The
appropriate role
role.
so that the role will help to domain join this machine.
Okay. And in the auto scaling scenario, that has to be
Mm.
again the same thing.
You cannot do auto scaling scenario as in what?
In the joining the domain. If actually the number of the sorry the if the load has been increased and they want to spin another IIS machine, so
Mm.
and it has to be into the domain. So that is the
You
interview question I have asked previously. So I
you domain
unable to,
join you
yeah.
domain join the machine and you take a snapshot and you keep it. So once you do this, the domain join information is already available in the machine. So when auto scaling happens, a machine will be provisioned. But mostly, why do you want to do a domain join when the auto scaling is happening? Because you're not going to log into those machines, right? So once the auto scaling stops or when the auto scaling becomes resize it, it'll come back to the original size and your original instances will be retained anyways. The scale out instances will be deleted.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Yeah. But otherwise, you can always do a domain join and you can add a snapshot and you can keep it and that information will be preserved. Let me try with this. Close, copy. What is so special about Ireland here? What is good there?
Have you heard about the Guinness?
Guinness World Record or Guinness beer.
Yes, Guinness beer is also there. Yeah, is the
Mm,
all famous wines and all the stuff. It's very famous for that. Is a multilingual culture is also here. So most
mhm.
of the all MNC companies are here. Microsoft, Google, eBay, and then Yahoo, as well as Intel manufacturing plants are here. All most of the pharmaceutical companies are here.
That is also in China, yeah.
It's everywhere.
ADMINISTRATOR. Weather is good there.
It's always cold.
You stay with your wife there.
Not at the moment.
Okay. Probably I'll plan and come for an holiday, buddy. I'll come and see you. I'm in Dubai right now. So hopefully
Welcome,
sometime mid
welcome,
next year I'll come
welcome,
and tell
welcome.
you hi there.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Most welcome at any time.
Thanks, man. It's doing its own thing. Just give me a couple of more minutes, guys. Then we will check whether the machine is onboarded to domain, and then we will proceed. Properties. This is weird. Hmm. Okay. Start. Windows Server Manager. Okay. Next. Next. Next again. Hmm. Next. Okay, remote server administrative tools. So this will allow me to at least talk to the AD. Next, next again, next, and then install. So this will install the tools that I need to communicate with AD. So let's give it a try here. Did you guys accept the Slack request that I sent you? Okay. Okay. We're almost done. Should take a couple of more minutes and we should be ready by now. Close, close, close. Guys, am I audible? I thought I've just got disconnected. You can hear me and see my screen, right? Okay. So now watch this step carefully. Instead of logging in as a local user, local administrator, I will try to log in as an AD user, AD administrator here. So what I have done is I have typed corp/admin. Admin is a default username for Active Directory, right? It is asking for a password to connect. So this is the password that you have to give while creating an AD. While creating an Active Directory, you have set a password, right? That password you have to give. Active Directory. Create. Enable. Okay. Why? What might be the problem, guys? Corp. Reset password. Dominate. IAM. Delete. What do I have here for domain? EC2 domain join. EC2 domain join role. A trusted relationship. Permission system. Okay. Inbox role. To directory. C2 role. How to connect on-premise Active Directory. Seamlessly joining EC2 instance. Yes, that's it. Launch an instance. Select an appropriate next. For subnet, choose one of the public subnet. Your VPC choose must have all the external traffic. Auto send the public IP address. IAM role. Okay. From domain join. For domain joining, choose a domain role for joining Active Directory list. To seamlessly join the instance, you should also need an IAM role that has the Amazon EC2 SSM manager policy attached to it. From the IAM role list, choose an IAM role that has this policy. If you choose this option, you do not have to manually join the instance to the domain, as this will be done by you when the instance is launched. Okay. Under AWS services, choose EC2 link and then click next, and then select a use case EC2 and then click next. In the list of policies, select EC2 role for Simple System Manager. Next, give the role name, domain join role, enter and create a role. Go back to page 3 from IAM role and choose the refresh icon. Next IAM role, your new role is visible. This is what I did. New role EC2, EC2 again, EC2 role for Simple System Manager. And if you see EC2 role for Simple System Manager, tag. Got the role created. Go back to the step 3 page from IAM role and choose and refresh. New role will appear in step 4. Leave the default settings and make sure needed. Next, select the security group, preview and launch. To join a Windows instance to Simple AD. Okay. Let me try that one last time, boys. EC2 launch instance. This time let me select some other machine here. Microsoft Windows Server 2012 base. Let me select this. It doesn't have a T2 micro here. Let me previous. Windows 16 base. 20K. Windows Server 2012. Yes. T2 micro. EC2 role for domain join. Okay. All right. Let's try this one last time. After all, your trainer is not perfect. We're getting there, guys. What is the next step once the instance joins the domain? Do we need to configure an on-premise AD? We do not have an on-premise AD, Mahesh. We will be configuring the AD that we have created on AWS. We don't have an on-premise AD, so we're gonna do user onboarding. We will add couple of users, and then we will grant access to various services. As we have discussed, there are a lot of things that we need to cover, such as chat, email, virtual desktop. So some of these areas that we need to work. I just want this machine to be domain joined, so that we can create a user. So that is the crucial step that we have. So hopefully this time, if it works, great. Otherwise, we will cancel the class today. I'm getting frustrated now. Okay. Just keeping my finger crossed that this machine should domain join. I have done everything correct. Everything correct I have done. And by the way, this is a different image. Previously, I was trying with Windows Server 2016. So now I'm using Windows Server 2012. Property. Finally, finally, the domain join has happened here. If you see here, corp.adnan.team. So finally, the domain has joined. I am not sure whether it's to do with the role or it's to do with the instance itself that was failing to join domain. But finally, this has joined domain right now. That's a good thing. It's a relief. Now we can continue with the lab. So you guys try with Windows Server 2016. If it works, great. If not, then you have to try with Windows Server 2012. And tell me whether it's an issue with the image or whether it's an issue with the role. Remote server administrative tools. Next, next again, next, and then finally you install it. That's why most of the applications and implementations happens on Linux a lot because of these reasons. Right? Windows machines usually take ages to start, ages to install, and it is not quick. I think after all this, we're finally progressing right now. So once this installation is done, the remaining class will be much more interesting. I think the installation is completed right now. It says your installation, featured installation, and installation succeeded. So close, and let me close this, and let me close this also. Right now we have to re-log in, and this time we will re-log in with the AD user. Okay. Finally, now I'm able to log in with the Active Directory credential. So I'm now, for Linux users, you should think as if I'm SSHing into an AD server. So likewise, though I'm logging into this Windows machine, but I'm actually logging in with the Active Directory here. And if you see the credentials there, corp/admin, right? I've logged into the AD right now. So now to configure users, I have to do dsa.msc. And if you see, my domain controller is showing up here, and my organization is here, and hopefully my users will be here. So there's one user right now with admin. Let me create a user here. User, I'm gonna call this. What's your last name, Mahesh?
Pathak, Pathak.
Give me that one more time. Pathak.
Yeah.
Okay. User login name. I'm gonna put it as MP, and just too easy for me to log in. And password, I'll set some password for you here. And make sure that you remove password reset in case if this is not for a user and if you're doing the lab. Next, right? I forgot to give an email ID. Let me give an email ID here to Mahesh. So I'm going to call Mahesh P @ Adnan.team, the domain that I have. Right? Apply. So what I've done is I've created a user right now in Active Directory. So going back to the Excel sheet, I've created an Active Directory with the help of role. I have created a Windows machine, this time Windows Server 2012, and I was able to sign on into the AD using this Windows machine, and I have created Mahesh. Right now, there are a couple of services that I have to do here. Right, the next thing is I will create virtual desktop to Mahesh. Right, let's say Mahesh is a remote user. Right, he works from a remote location. Right, so I don't want him to use his device. I want him to use my VDA, my virtual desktop. Guys from a VMware background, you should be familiar with VMware Horizon. Guys who are coming from Citrix background, Citrix Zen Desktop. Right, guys coming from Microsoft, it is virtual desktop. Right, so on AWS, I will be creating Windows 7 or Windows 10 desktop with Office software, with graphic cards, Photoshop, whatever that you want. Right, so let me create a virtual desktop for him so that he can work. So that is the next second step. Right, once I have his user ready, right, I will give him a virtual desktop, and then I will give him an email account also. Services. Scroll down here. And then if you see the option here, it says Amazon Workspace. So in Amazon world, we'll call this Workspace. In Citrix world, we call it as ZenDesktop. In VMware world, we call it as Horizon, right? So Workspace, launch a workspace here, a self-service permission. Next step. Right. Let me to show all users. Okay, Mahesh Pathak is right here. Add user. Next step. Now the couple of versions of desktops available. There's a Linux VDI is available. This is free. Windows 7 is available. Windows 10 is available. Office 2010, 2013, 2016. Right. This is with graphic cards if you want to play games. Okay, all this is not free. What is free is we will select. So Windows 10 we will do. So Windows 10, you can give your root partition and how much ever storage you want. Right, user partition storage also you can give here 100 GB, 200 GB. You can encrypt your root drive and disk drive also. Right, if you don't want, it's okay. New workspace, launch workspace. Now, if you read this message here, this will take 20 minutes to create. So while this is creating, we will come back to this in a moment here for this to create and become complete here. So I'll mark this yellow for now that this I have created, right? Now let's give him a documentation repository, a repository for him to keep his office document, or let's give him email. Let's give him email. Why it is not showing? I think I created it. Okay, never mind. Let me come back and see this later. Go back to my directory services. Open my directory services. Come back and we'll give him work email. This is equivalent to Microsoft Exchange or Office 365. Add an organization, standard setup, and my AD is right here. I will select this AD, my key, create. Domain. I need to add a domain here. So my domain is adnan.team is my domain for my labs, and I will add this domain. Right now, if you could see here, all this says verified, verified. This is verified, right? All this entry says it is verified, and these two entries are missing, right? This is just to ensure that you own this domain name, right? So we need to add those entries here. So we'll go to Route 53. Services, Route 53. Route 53. And the domain name that you have created. right? Now what we need to do is these are some of the entries that I've already added it just to save some time. Otherwise, this will take 20 to 30 minutes. It's like your certificate. Once you add a record, it will take some time, right? So I need to add a couple of more records here. I'll click on create a record set. And then I'll go back here, right? So it says Adnan.team. There's nothing in front of it. I'll leave it blank. I'll copy this part. Come back here, select txt, put my entry, and then create. Likewise, create a record set one more. Go back, copy this until here. Enter txt and the whole entry here. Create. Right, let me show you a couple of more examples for you to create a record here. Right, for example, this is the first record that you need to create, right? So remember it says txt here. So what you have to do is click on create a record and select txt, and then Adnan.team is already there. Just copy the front end, come back, paste it here, right? And then copy this part and then paste it here, and then you click on create. So this is how you add an entry. Couple of more examples, right? For example, MX record and CNAME. This is tricky. Now there's nothing in front of Adnan, so we'll leave it empty here. We'll copy this. Record is MX. Just paste it here. There's nothing in front of Adnan.team. So there's no need of entering anything here. And then you click on create. Right. So this is easy. Just copy things from the front end. Let's leave the dot and copy. And the record type is CNAME. Paste it here. Select CNAME from the list. Go back. Copy this. Come over here and then paste it. And then click on create. So like this, you have to create records for each entry one at a time. And all your records will appear here. If you see, all my records are appearing here. Right. So once you create a record, don't panic and don't hurry burry. You have to wait. Right. On an average of 20 minutes, you have to wait for this to refresh and to show you it is validated. And you will see this green mark, verified, verified, verified. Right. Now I added this moment ago, which was saying missing. This is also verified. Right. So just to save time, I have pre-added it. So it'll all verify it. So once this is verified, you have to only go to user here, and Mahesh is right here, enable user. And from the drop down, select the domain, enable. Right now, MP at Adnan. So let's see whether Mahesh's email ID is working. Right. So the username is just MP. Password. And by the way, you can configure this with Outlook and all. Outlook or whatever Google client, anything that you have, you can configure this with that. Right. So can you guys send some test emails? I'll give you the email ID, mp at the rate. Can you guys send some test emails to this email ID? Just to make sure that he's receiving emails. refresh. Guys, did you send an email or what? None of you have sent a test email. Okay. So Raghavendra has sent a mail. I'll reply him. Thanks, buddy. Right. So please confirm whether you received an email. So this is how you create an organization or an enterprise email on AWS. Whatever domain name that you have purchased, you can start a company if you want to start a startup or a business of your own or something of that sort, right? Or you have employees that you want to create an account, or if you're working in an organization where you want to set up an email services, this is where you do. Again, the same story, guys. It's a fully managed email service. You don't need email administrator, right? It'll work. It'll always work. So we gave him email, right? So Mahesh has an email now, and Mahesh has an email. Let's see whether Mahesh workspace is ready. It is still pending. So his desktop is still not ready. So we'll leave this desktop here for Mahesh. We'll come back and we will watch this later. Now, what else Mahesh needs for him to work? So we gave him email. We will give him some documentation repository so that he can keep his office files, office documents, all that he can keep here, right? So we'll go to work docs, create, admin. Okay. Corp/admin. I'm logging in as an AD administrator on this service first, and sign in. Open control panel. So under control panel, you have Mahesh here, and Mahesh account is inactive and he's guest. So let me edit Mahesh account here. I'm gonna make him active. He is the user, and let us give him unlimited storage, and then save changes. Okay, he's active now, and he's a user, and he has unlimited storage. So let me sign out and sign back in. Sign out. Right, guys, did you receive the email that I sent you? And is Mahesh able to reply you the email? Did you get his reply back? Okay, so that means the outgoing mail is also working. Nice. So now Mahesh has got his own repository here. He can keep all his documentation, all his office related work, everything he can do. New folder, right? Sales stock, create new folder, projects, client reports, something like that. Whatever you want, you can keep it. And there's a mobile version of this, right? Um, right. So you can install this on your mobile phone and you can log in and you can also sync your file from your mobile phone. This is also available. Workspace is also available, right? So when I say workspace, that means you can literally access Windows 10 on your mobile phone. You can literally access Windows 10 on your mobile phone or on your tablet or on your MacBook. And there you go. There's a workspace client also that is available that you can install on Android. iPhone is also available, right? Let me check whether we have Workmail. This is to manage AWS resources. I don't think so, but do not hesitate. You can use Outlook or any other mail client. It will work just fine, right? So projects, we'll go to projects here. He can upload any documents that he wants, right? For example, upload file or folder, right? Let's say some credential files, some Excel data that he has, he can upload it. It is popping up here. What do I have here? Right, some PDF documentation. Something like this, right? Now, if he wants to see, he can just have to click on this. And then the certification will show up, right? Something like this, right? So this is my professional thing that I have done. So it is showing up here. Let me go back. My docs. Sorry, projects. If he wants to see what is in this Excel sheet, he can click on this. Right, the Excel will open and all the details are here. My password and credentials are available. Right, now he wants to share this file with his friends. He can invite people from his organization. If he has more users created, he can search here. AD will give him all the users. He can share search within the organization, or he can generate a link. He can generate a link and he can give it to you and you guys can access it. Just like exactly just like Google Drive or just like Dropbox or just like OneDrive, but it is for enterprises. It is for all the employees, right? You don't want your employees storing contents in Dropbox or OneDrive. Therefore, you're creating drives in case if your laptop gets formatted or something, you have data available here. So we gave him work docs to play with. This is done. What else we should give him? AWS Management Console, right? So we have done IAM lecture in last week where I've demonstrated how you can create a company URL and we can create users and allow them to log in. This is different. Now in this situation, you will say, hey, why do I have to use IAM and create separate users? Can I do AWS Management Console as a single login, single sign-on, right? Can I use that Mahesh's email ID and can I log into AWS account, right? That is what we want to do. Now to do that, Again, an internal service has to communicate. We need an IAM role here. This is a separate role that we have to create. So let me go and create that role. Role. Let me check whether I already have a role here. So single sign-on user role I have created. Administrative access. Okay. Okay. So create a role. EC2. EC2 again. Permissions. Select administrator. AD IAM ROLA role. And then you create a role here. And now you go to trusted relationship, right? Now you modify again DS and you update the relationship here. Once you have done this, right, you come back AWS Management Console, click on the Management Console here under AD, right, and open AWS Management Console. And if you see, you have your AD IAM role that I have created right now, right? Add and then MP Mahesh, right? Pathak, I have added him here. Now because I've added him here, where did it go? Right? I will copy this and open this in incognito mode so that it should not contradict with root login. Paste it. Right? MP. Right? And then the same, I'm logging in with the AD credentials. So that's it. So this way I can eliminate a need of having a separate IAM user. I can add the Active Directory user and I can give him AWS Management Console access. And if you see here, this is the role it is using, AD IAM role, and Mahesh has logged in into my account. Right, so this can be done with IAM user also, and this can be now done with Active Directory user also. And I think Active Directory is a simple use case so that a user doesn't have to carry two credentials. So if you disable Active Directory user, he will eventually not only lose access to his email, he will also lose access to IAM, he'll also lose access to his documentation repository, he will lose access to everything. But if you have two separate users, one is an AD and one is an IAM, you have to go and disable this twice. Are you with me so far? Are you following? Yes, 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 no, maybe. Nice. Right. So let me go and check workspace. Okay, workspace is finally available. So the way you connect to workspace is, whether it's your mobile phone or your laptop, you first copy this and you run it in your browser. And then if you come down here, it'll give you a client: Fire tablet, Chromebook, Android, Windows, iPad, and Mac OS. So I have a Windows machine, so I have to download a Windows client. Again, just to save time, I have already downloaded and installed this on my local machine. right? So I don't need to download this client, right? So next thing is I need this registration ID. I'll copy this registration ID. Amazon Workspace. Remind me later. Settings and manage registration, right? You have to go to manage registration, add the registration code and click on register. So once you have registered, again, the same username you can give that you have created in AD, same password, and then you can log in. No. And I would strongly encourage you guys to log in your phone. What happened? We are unable to connect to your workspace. Please try again in a few minutes. If the problem persists, please contact your administrator. What happened? Thought so. No. Mhm. Network connection status. Install update. Yes, install update. Okay. Let's try that again. Manage registration. Yes. Mm, no. Finally, I think it was the issue with the version of Workspace what I had, right? So I've logged into Windows 10, and let me open the browser here. No. And this is different than your EC2 instance, guys. You will not get an access to on which the operating system is running, though you can log in and see program files, but this is a fully managed desktop. They have taken care of bandwidth allocation at any given point of time. Maybe initially when you boot this machine or when you try to set up this machine, there would be some performance issues. But once that is taken care of, right, the experience is flawless. It works like a web browser. It is like smooth silk experience. Your internet is also flawless. There's no jittering, right? So all that experience is great. Make sure that you update your browser. I'm not a huge fan of Firefox. I kind of like Chrome here, right? So let's do some speed test. So it's half a gigabyte speed, internet speed that I'm receiving on this machine. Mm, more information. Okay. So make sure that you remember this core. Let's do another test. Speed. So in my entire life, I have never seen a network which says zero here. You'll always have 1 or 2 milliseconds delay. I've never seen a network which says zero, right? Maybe the speed test is broken, or Amazon has engineered the service in such a way that there is absolutely no latency at all, right? So this is the speed that you get if you continue to use so. So let's try one with the video also. Okay. Mm, Guys, is it smooth? Do you see any shuttering on your screen? Is any shuttering? Right, and if you don't need it, you can chuck it. Shut down.
Document save on that workspace, where it will save.
It'll save. It has its own storage, which is different than S3.
Okay. And
It
nothing to
does not.
work, nothing to do relate with the docs where we are creating a separate doc, the
Mhm.
a repository for the users.
No, you just
Oh,
once the AD is ready, you just have to enable the access. So once you enable it, this like they log into their email, they can log into the documentation repository. So while activating it, right, you can either give him unlimited access or you can say limit and we can give 5 GB, 10 GB or 50 GB respectively. So that every user in your organization will have their own work docs, which is isolated to them. In case of an S3, everybody can see within the organization, and the point is, you don't want to give S3 access to every person that is working in your company, right? Those accesses are only limited to project who are working on AWS domain. There are a lot of other functions such as HR, finance. They don't need S3. S3 is sophisticated for them. So if you give them work docs, they can maintain their documentation repositories. They can store their contents, right? HR's, finance team, right? Transportation team, logistic. There are a lot of other non-IT functions who needs access to storage, and S3 is a little sophisticated for them. So workdocs is a simple approach. Are you with me?
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So the last thing is now we need to connect chat, and then we have to connect some remote tool and some video audio calling. So what software shall we use, guys? Skype for Business. What do you think we should use? Okay, Pranit says it is not smooth. Mahesh says Skype for Business. Not so clear. Yes, little bit flickering, right? So maybe it's an internet issue that I have, but when you do your lab and when you see this in person, perhaps the perspective might change. So Mahesh, no, we are not Azure, it is AWS. So you should have some other recommendation here for your customers on AWS. Guys, every day you attend, guys, Amazon Chime. Every day you join on Chime call, you see my screen. I have taken remote and I have worked on your issues. I have seen your screen. We are doing audio video call. We can chat, we can say hi, hello here, right? So it is not Zoom, it is Chime, right? So I cannot log out from Chime here. If I log out, I will lose connection here, right? So you should take my words for it. So instead of logging in with your personal email ID, personal email address, right? It is very simple. You download a Chime client and you log in with your work email, right? mp@adnan.team, right? Like we logged in into Workmail, we logged in into Docs, we logged in into Workspace. So like that, you have to log in into Chime. So once you log into Chime, your Chime will be a part of the domain that I've created with AD. So if you have colleagues, you can interact with your colleagues on Chime within your organization, right? You can say hi, hello. You can share screens. You can take remote services. All that we can do. Is working docs can share with others? Yes. Yes, I gave you the link, right? See here on the top, I gave you the link. You can share with your colleagues. You can add your colleague's email ID. Only your colleagues can see. Right? Other exams. What is other exams, Mahesh? No other exams. You will recommend Chime.
Okay, no, actually, I say there are so many other vendors also. They are providing the chat services. So
Mm. But for business, we'll be using this, right? So this can do all of this. It can do audio video call. It can share screen. You can take remote control. You can help. You can chat. All that you can do. Printer I don't have. I'm sure most of you do not have printer also to integrate. Third party application, some amount of development that you have to do to call an API and to work with Active Directory. MySQL, sorry, this is MS SQL database, right? I want you to try and tell me how you do it. It is just very simple, right? While creating it, I'll show it to you. Right, you have to go to RDS, and this only works with MS SQL. You cannot use this with any other database. So create a database, and then MySQL. You can select anything that you want. Next, next again. Okay. Next, and there you go. It says Microsoft Windows Server Authentication. All you have to do is select this. That's it. And you don't need role or anything for this. You only need role for EC2 instance and any other services in IAM. You only need role for EC2 instance in IAM, and everything else that you do, you don't need a role here. And then you come and click on create database, and that's it. So the database will domain join Active Directory, and the same credentials can be used to now log into your database. Are you with me? Right, a third party cannot show you, and printer I don't have. Right, so there are a lot of other versatile use cases that you can use with Active Directory. I want you guys to explore, come back and let me know. Right, so with that said, we will conclude today's lecture. If you guys have any questions, I'll take them now. Any questions, boys? All right then, so we'll pack up the class today. We do not have class tomorrow, though I wanted to have class tomorrow. So we will not have class tomorrow. So I'll schedule a class on Wednesday or Thursday. I will update you on the schedule, right? And then by then, I strongly urge you guys to please practice and do your labs. This is very important, right? Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you. Bye-bye.